In today's video I'm going to show you how to make this lovely shopping bag. I use saffron cotton yarn. It's very soft and lovely to work with. So I've got it in the dark brown for the hearts, and I've got the light brown along with the cream for the most of the bag and for the handles, and I've just picked out a few hearts with just a normal red. It's a double knit, that one, just to make it stand out. So again, you're going to need pair of scissors, your needle, and I'm using a 2.5mm hook. So let's get started. We need to make the heart shape for the middle, so we're going to do a magic circle like so, and we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then we need to do 2 double crochets into the magic circle. So we are making the center of the heart at the moment. So that's 1. And this is number 2. Then we're going to chain 2 for a corner, and then we're going to do 3 double crochets back into this center. One, 2, and number 3. Going to need another corner, so it's another chain of 2 back in through the center for another set of 3 double crochets. Again, we need another corner, so it's going to be a chain of 2. And we're going to need our last lot of 3 double crochets into the center. I'm just going to pull that square a bit closer. So it's our last lot of 3 double crochets. So we're going to need a last corner now. So the last lot of chain of 2. And then as we pull it together, you'll see where it's going to go. We're going to slip stitch into this top of your chain 2 at the beginning. Like so. There we have 4 sides of our square. Now I'm going to slip stitch to the center one. So I'm going to put it all the way through, pull it through, and we're going to end up in this center one here, like so. Now from here we need to do 8 double crochets into this corner. There we have 1, oops, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and number 8. There we have that corner. So we're going to move from this section now. So we need to chain 1. And then in this one, we're going to do a single crochet. So we're going to move to the next section. So it's another chain of 1. And then we're going to miss a stitch and go in this center one here. And we're going to put 2 single crochets in there. So we have 1, 2. We're going to chain 1. We're going to go straight back in that same stitch. And we're going to do another 2 single crochets. So that's going to be the point at the bottom. We're now moving from there, so we're going to do a chain of 1, and we're going to go over to this corner here, and we're doing 1 single crochet. There we have it. We're going to move from that one to our next corner, so again we need a chain of 1,
And then we're going to do 8 double crochets in this top corner here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, whoops, lost that one, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're going to chain 1, and then we're going to go straight back into this first stitch here. We're just going to do a slip stitch into there, right in the middle there. I'm going to cut our yarn, and then we're going to sew it through into the back. Before I do any sewing, I'm going to close this hole up here by giving this one a tug. Wrap it around your hook, give it a gentle pull, don't pull too hard because you do not want it to snap. And there we have it, it's disappeared. So I'm going to thread my needle and secure this top one in place. I'm going to go through the back and just work my way through some of these stitches into the middle. Work my way down. Now I'm just going to finish it off with tying a knot. The last thing you want is for the centre of your granny square to come apart when you're out shopping, because then it'll unravel the rest of it. There we have it. So I'm going to cut these ends off. And there we have our heart. Okay, now we need to do this section here to make the square ready for our granny square. So we're going to make a slip knot. We need to go into the bottom stitch of your square, sorry, your heart. Pull this one tight, and we're going to pull up a loop. It's going to let me through. Almost. It's quite tight down there. Let's try that one again. Here it comes. This is what we've got. So I'm going to chain 1 to make sure it's on there securely and give this one a tug. Now in our next stitch we need a single crochet. Then we need a half double crochet. 2, 3. Then we need a double crochet in this next one here. Get it through both loops. So you pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. The next one we need a treble, so it's going in this one here, through 2, through 2, and through 2, and then we need to make a corner, so we're going to chain 2. The next stitch here we're going to be doing a double crochet, and through 2, 2. The next one's going to be a half double crochet, like so. Then we're going to do a single crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're We're going to make another corner now, so we're going to have a chain of 2 for our corner. We're going to go back along and we're going to be doing another 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and number 4 is here. I'm not happy with that one. I want to try and get it through that bit there. Work my way through the both loops. And then we're going to do a half double crochet straight down this line here, just straight in the middle of this stitch. Oh, it's gone off the edge. We want this one here. We might have to wiggle it through because it's quite tight where we've fed that wool back through. There we have it. No, that one's missed. There it is, right in there. So you're going to pull through all 3. So you'll need to pull this over so we can get back to the stitch that's hiding under here. We need to do 4 single crochets back along this top bit. So I want that one under there. Let's move these over a bit so I can see what I'm doing. 1, 2, 3, and 4, just on the tip there. We're in a corner again now, so we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. We're going to go back down the other side with starting off with 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and this is our number 4. And get it through the loop. Then we're going to do a half double crochet, working our way back to the bigger stitches all the way through 3. Then we're going to do a double crochet. We're going to go through 2 and through 2. Now we want another corner, so we're going to do chain of 2. This leads us into our treble crochet in this next stitch here. And then a double crochet in this next one here. And then a half double crochet in this next stitch here. If it'll come through, come on. Oh, didn't like that, did it? Let me try that one again. And we're going to finish up in this first stitch here with a single crochet, like so. Now we have our square. So on this next round we need to do a chain of 2, and in this same stitch we need to do 2 double crochets. So that's 1, and that's 2. We're going to chain 1 because we're going to move over, and we're going to go in this corner here. We're going to do 3 double crochets to begin with. One, 2, 3. So we need a corner. We're going to chain 2. And then we're going to fill the next bit with our 3 double crochets to work our way back down the other side. We're going to move on, so we're going to chain 1. Now we need to go in the middle section, so we can see this is our corner. So we've got 1, 2, 3. And this side we've got 1, 2, 3. So we're going to go right in between. We need to do double crochet, so I forgot to wrap my yarn around. 1 second. In this one here, 3 double crochet. So you want a little cluster in that one, all in that same stitch. Once you finish this round, it is so much quicker and easier. Chain 1 because we're moving on, and we're going to go to the corner. Oh, isn't it annoying then you get a knot? Let's hope it hides. So here's my corner. Oh, look at that, right in the corner. Let's see if I can keep it there. 1, 2, 3, chain 2 for our corner, back in the same hole for another 3 double crochets. Now we're leaving the corner, so we need another chain of 1, and we're going to look for our center one here. We're going to go in there. So again, I need to do a double crochet, so yarn over in that one there and a cluster of 3. We're going to leave that cluster, so chain 1, and we're on to the next corner. So we're going to do a 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 3 double crochets again in the same corner, we're leaving the corner, so we've got a chain of 1. Again, we're going to go in the middle, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right in the middle, cluster of 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. We're leaving that area, so we're going to chain 1, and we're going to do the same in the following corner, 3, 2, and 3. 3 double crochets. Whoops. Number 2 and 3, chain 2 and 3 double crochets. Chain 1 because we're leaving that corner, and we're going to join a slip stitch to the top of this one here. So that's what we're looking like so far. Got to do the next round now. This will be the last one in the cream. So I need to get over to this one so it looks neat. So I'm going to slip stitch along these top ones. That way you can't see where you've been. So we've got 2 slip stitches. Then we're going straight in this corner for a slip stitch, and we're starting again. So we've got a chain of 2, and then we're going to put 2 more double crochets in that section. Chain 1 because you're leaving, and you're going into the corner, so it's going to be a 3, 2, 3. So you're going to continue this all the way around until you get back to the top. So you've got your clusters of 3 in here. Remember to do your chain 1 as you leave, and a 3, 2, 3 in the corner, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, I've gone all the way around the outside. I've chained my 1, and now I'm going to come back through this chopped chain of 2, and I'm going to do my slip stitch. And I'm going to slip stitch into the next one just to secure it, and then cut my yarn. So there we have the middle section. I'm just going to sew that end in as I go. Just makes it a lot neater. So I know this is the back. I'm going to work my way through and come down through. I want to get it through the bottom of that cluster. And then I can cut it off. So I'm going through here. And then miss the first stitch and go back through the other ones. That way you know it's completely secure in there. Cut that one off. I'll sew the other one in later. And this is where I'm now going to attach my brown back again for the border. Again, we're going to do a slip stitch. And I'm going to start on the side here. So we're going to come through that stitch there and chain 2. That's to join it, that's the first one. So that one doesn't count. So we've got a chain of 2, 1, 2, and then another 2 double crochets into that one. One, 2, chain 1 to leave. Going into this one here now. I'm just going to keep that yarn behind to keep that sewn in. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 to leave, and then into the corner. So you've done this already before. You carry on going and I'll meet you back round here. I've just come to the end of that round. I'm going to chain 1 and we're going to slip stitch into the top of this chain here. And again, I like to just carry it over so it gives it a bit more stability so that we can sew that end in. So again, we go through the front into the next stitch, which is this one here. Work our way back down. And then through the double crochets at the bottom. And you're going to miss one and work your way back through just to keep it that bit tighter. So there we have our granny square, and as you can see, it's not looking very flat. This is where blocking is so important. This one's already been blocked. So what you do, you get your blocking board, and if you don't have a blocking board, you can use a rubber mat, you know, the ones that the children have that they click together like a jigsaw and just put pins in. These just pull out. So what you generally do is you put in each corner like so. And we just pop that one back in. And you can have as many on there as you can fit. And then we just gently wet it with water. Okay, so I've just got a normal spray bottle of water. We're going to give it a good soaking. And then you just keep layering them up. Let them dry naturally overnight. And you will see such a difference. And it keeps the shape of your work so much nicer. So the next stage we're going to do is we're going to be joining them together. Okay, so for the bag I'm making, I need 44 squares to make it up, and I'm doing a mixture of different coloured hearts. So I want the red hearts to be in the centre, and you have to remember you're going to have a front and a back to your bag, so you need to make sure that you've got double on your pattern. So these are going to be my centre ones. It's a bit too high, you can't see what I'm doing. Let's see if we can work this out. And I wanted to go round the outside with the darker ones and have the lighter ones in the corner. So we've got twos, twos. So we're edging all of our red with dark, like so. And then I'm going to fill in with these lighter ones in the corners. So that's going to be the front and the back of our bag. Let me see if I can move this up to make it a better view for you. Now, as well as the front and the back, we're going to need a side and a bottom. That's where these lighter ones also come in. So you're going to go around the edge. You're only going to need one each side. And we don't need a corner because when they fold up like so, that is where it's going to be. There we have it. That is the layout that I'm going to be using for this bag. So now all I need to do is show you how to put them together. Okay, I'm going to show you how to join them together using the slip stitch method. Now I've already done the first row to show you, and it creates this lovely slip stitch all the way along. So you're going to stitch up in rows, and then we're going to work our way along to join these bits together. So we start off with a slip stitch, and you pop that on your hook. Now we're going to be sewing these two together. Now what we need is to go through the bottom, so the back loop of each one. So I'm going to start on this corner. We know we've got a chain of 2, so we're going to go through the back of that chain and join it with the back of this one. So as you can see, here's our corner. So we've got a chain and a chain. So we're going to go in the back loop of this one. Let's get that one out of the way. So it's always tricky to start off. Once you've got going, it's fairly easy. I'm going to tighten that slip knot. Now your yarn is always going to be underneath. So let's move that one over. Like so. You'll see what I mean as we get going. And you're going to pull through all 3 of those loops. So that's your first stitch done. Then we're going to look for our second one. Now we'll want this one to drop really, because that's going to get in the way. Look for your next stitch, which is the top of this chain of 3 here. Let's double check that one. Yeah, that's that one. So here we are. So we're going to go through the back loop and through the back loop of the corresponding one on the other side. So you've got 3 on your hook at the moment. We're going to chain over and we're going to slip it through all 3. Again, we need to keep that other long tail down. Go through the back loop of this one and the corresponding back loop of the other one. And yarn over and pull through all 3. The next stitch, always make sure that you are matching it up with the other one. So we've got the last of the chain of 3 there, and we've got the last of the chain of 3 here. Pick up our yarn over and pull through all 3. Whoops, dropped it off there. There we go. So now we're on the chain 1 back loop and the back loop of this chain 1. We're going to yarn over, get rid of that tail end, and pull through all 3. Back loop of our chain of 3, and again on this side. Once you get going, you'll work out how to do it with holding this yarn as well, but always make sure it's down below when you're picking up these back stitches. And always make sure that you've got this corresponding loop on both sides. You don't want to get to the end and find that you've got too much one side and not enough the other. So now we're going to go in this chain of 1, back loop, and the chain of 1 on this side. Get through, there we go, pull it all through. Oops, drop that one. Let's try that one again. Back loop, chain over and through all 3. So what we've got going on at the moment is this nice chain going all the way up.
So you need to continue up, and obviously when you get to the end of here, we're just going to join straight onto this one. So if you want to carry on going, I'll see to you once you've done the whole of the front of your bag. Okay, so as you can see, we've now got the front of the bag made and the bottom is sewn on. We're going to have to go through and do these side bits. So you just turn your work over. Again, you're going to do exactly the same thing. You're going to do your slip knot, put it on your hook, and then we're going to pick up the back loops of these two and work your way back down, making sure that your yarn is underneath, like so. And just carry on doing your slip stitch. So you're going to put it through all three, find your next stitch in the back loop and the back loop of this side, just keep working your way back up through. You don't want to pull them too tight because the bag's got to have a bit of a give in it. So if you carry on, I'm going to meet you on this bit because I want to show you where it doubles over. Now I'm just about to go over the first section here. So I've kept my yarn up through the front. Obviously it stays at the back, but I've had to pull it up through for the last bit. So what we want to do now is we want to find these last two stitches. So we've got one here and one on this side. We're going to yarn over and pull through. Come all the way through. Now I'm going to pull my yarn back through because I need to come up on this other side. Like so, and I'm going to pull the yarn up on this one to carry on. And we quite literally jump over, and then you're going to pick up the inside stitch of the first one, or I call it the back loop, and the same on this one, which is this corner one here. Yarn over and pull through. Then you're going to continually work up the whole side, doing the same on all of them. So when I put it back down, you'll see that it's got a nice line going over. So if you want to carry on doing all the other ones, I'll catch up with you at that point. Okay, so I finished sewing up both sides of the squares, and as you can see, it's a nice size bag. That's going to be the base. So now we need to do the same for the other side. It will look just like this, but without the base, and then we can add on the sides. So you need to start sewing together the other side of your bag, and I'll see you back when you've got that piece done, and we'll just work on the sides. Okay, I've now got the one side of my bag and the other, and obviously on this side we have the bottom, which when they're put together will show you the whole of the outside, like so. So all we're missing now is our sides. So now we need to do the same thing and just connect 4 of your side panels together, which I'm using these ones. So I will go ahead and sew the 4 on each side, and again join them as you go to the front or the back. Okay, I've sewn the side strip on this section, and I'm going to attach it to the front section of the other side.
And always make sure that when you are attaching them together that you do have the raised slip stitches that you've done, and you don't do it the wrong way around, otherwise it's not going to match in very well. So I'm going to go straight up this line here, and then I'm all ready to add the side section, which will join the two pieces together. Okay, as you can see, we've got the back, the side, the front, and we've also got the bottom. So all we have left now to do is another side so that we can join them, and they will be joining all the way around like so. So I'll leave you to carry on sewing on your last side and sewing up the bottom, and then we can work on the handles. Right, so this is the bag finished as far as I've gone so far. We've got both sides on, we've got the bottom on, and we are all sewn together. And I've decided to keep the slip stitch edge outwards, but if you prefer the inside, then you can choose that one. Just remember when you're sewing in your end to do it on the side that you don't want to see, so it's on the middle. So the next thing we need to do now is to do a band around the top, which is going to hold it all together and keep it strong. So I'm going to start on one of the sides, and I'm just going to make a slip stitch. Now each one of these squares that you've made have 21 stitches that you can pick up along the top. So we have got 10 squares around, so we're going to have 210 single crochets going around. So what I want to do is to pick up this very first one here. So because it is just a chain, I'm going to have to just go into the back one on here, but otherwise all the other double crochets you can pick up both loops. So here we have it. I'm just going to slip stitch first on this one, pull that down, and I'm going to go back in and do a single crochet. That way I've got something to latch onto at the other end. So all we're going to do is we're going to go around the whole circumference of the top doing a single crochet all the way around. So you're going to have 210 single crochets going around. So if you want to carry on, I'll meet you back here and we'll look at joining it together. Okay, I've got right round to the end. I'm just going to do my joining stitch. So this is where we joined it here, and this is where we did our single crochet. So I'm going to go straight into that one and join it with a slip stitch. So now I'm going to pop a stitch marker in, and from now on I'm going to be working in the round. So I'm going to continually keep going round. Every time I get to my stitch marker, that's my last stitch. I'm going to remove it, do my stitch, put it back, and we need to do 5 rounds in total. So this is already your foundation one, so I'm going to class that as the first round. So we need to carry on and do another 4 rounds before I show you how to make the attachments for the handles. So if you want to carry on going around for your last 4, I will meet you back here. So I've gone round, I've done my 5 rows, as you can see. I've just continued on so that I can show you the next stage without boring you. But to put the handles on, I'm going to have one handle on each side. It depends whether you just want one complete handle over the top. But I've worked out that if I go between these squares, I'm doing 9, so I work my way up to the centre, and I'm going to count 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm popping a stitch marker in. So we count our way back. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the top one that we started, and now we're going to go on another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in total we've got 9 to work with. So what I need to do is pop my stitch markers on this one. So we're going to go up. So 4 onwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to pop a stitch marker in here. And again for the other side of the handle, we can count back 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the one we come up on, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go in this one here. So we know where our handles need to be placed. In this section here, for this one row, we need to work in the front loops only, because we need something in the back to attach our handles. So if I just carry on along here, this is just the 6th row that I've carried on with. There's my stitch marker, but obviously I didn't want to bore you with all my work, so I just carry on doing single crochets until you get to your stitch marker, which is this next one. We'll take that one out. This is the beginning of our handle. We're going to work in the front loop only, so we're going to go in this one here, carry on with our single crochet, but just the front. So it's 9 single crochets of front loop only, like so. One more under this stitch marker. And then once you've done your 9, you just carry on going through both loops all the way until you get to your next set of stitch markers. Now I'll just show you what we have on the inside. As you can see, we've got these raised stitches that we haven't used, so that when we attach our handle, we're going to work from here. So if you want to carry on going round, do your front loop onlys in between these sections, and obviously I've done the back already, and I'll meet you back when we get to your stitch marker. Okay, I'm back round by my stitch marker now, and as you can see, we have got the back loops ready on this side and the back loops ready on this side. Now I just need a bit more gap at the top to cover the handle, so we're going to do another 3 rows. So this is row 6 already that we've just done, so we're going to make it up to 9 rows in total. So you want to go around 3 more times, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, I've got 1 stitch left to do on the border at the top. So this is our 9th row. And to finish it off, I'm going to be doing some slip stitches along, because obviously this is our side panel here. I just want to hide it on the edge, and if you do slip stitches, it doesn't look as obvious where we've worked in the round. I think 5 would be enough, but it's up to you. And we're going to cut that one off. Leave it long enough so that you can sew in your ends, because you need it quite secure. So there we have the bag as it is, with the nice border at the top. You can make it as high as you like. There's no right or wrong way. And obviously here we can see our back loops ready for us to put the handles on. So that's what we're going to be doing next. Okay, the next thing we need to do is to make the handles. Now I'm going to leave a length, probably about 30 centimetres first before I do my slip knot, because I want to use that to reinforce when I sew the first handle on. Now we need to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, and we're going to work our way back along. So we need 9 single crochets, because we're going to miss this first one here. That's your chain 1 turn. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and number 9. So that's our first row complete. Just give that a tug to pull that up. Now we need to chain 1 to turn. We're going to do 3 rows to begin with. So this is going to be our second row. So we're going to go back in this first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the last one's going to be hiding over here. So make sure you get both loops up. Get in there. There we go. 9. Chain 1 and back down the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Gets easier now that you get a little bit longer. Excuse me. 9. Okay, we still need to chain 1. Now we need to attach this to our bag. So where we have the back loops from that previous round, we just attach it with a single crochet. So you're going to go first through what you're working on into that front section there. Pick up the first loop that you can see, which is here, and we're going to do a single crochet. So this is row 4. There we go. Single crochet. Work your way along. This is going to make it fairly secure, but we are going to reinforce it when it's all done with some more stitching. That's why we've left this long piece of yarn here, so we can sew all the way around, because it will be taking some weight in it, I suppose. Make sure you get both of them. Where's the other one gone? There it is, there. And that's our number 9. Again, all you're going to do at this point is chain 1, turn your work around and go back through the other side like so. Just keep working your way along. Try and keep the tension fairly tight, because you don't want a holy handle. So this is row 5. Now I'll let you carry on. You need to keep going. If you wanted the handles that are fairly short that you're just going to carry by your side, then you need to do 95 rows of them. If, however, you want to make it a lot longer, so you can just tuck it over your shoulder and clench it under your elbow, then you're looking at 160 rows. So you make your choice as to whether you want to come back at 95 rows or 160 rows, and I'll meet you back then. Okay, I finished my 165 rows. It doesn't have to be 165. You need to gauge it on your body and work out what best fits you or what you're happy with. But what you need to do is make sure that when you've finished, your next row will be on the right hand side and it is in line so that obviously it's not twisted in any way. You might just have to put an extra row in because you don't want to start from here because it's very awkward to go back. And then what we need to do, we've done our chain 1. We're going to go back through that first stitch and we are going to pick up the first loop that's available here. And we are going to keep our work fairly tight and do a single crochet all the way along. We're going to go in the next stitch, pick up the next loop, like so. Just keep working your way along. Come through it, didn't want to do that one. Let's go back and have another go. Yep, we're definitely in the loop there. That's it. And there we have it, that's our number 9. We're going to chain 1 and we need to finish off with 3 rows like we did at the beginning because we want something to anchor here just to keep it that much stronger. So just continue working along for another 3 rows and I'll catch you then. Okay, I've just finished. I'm going to cut a long piece of yarn so that I can use it for sewing and strengthening it. So we're going to pull that through, thread our needle, and then we want it to sit flat where we are, like so. So I'm going to go through the bag, but you need to make sure you're going in line with whatever stitches are there. You don't really want it showing on the outside, so I'm just going to come up at the side and go through my work where I can see it. Just keep working your way down. Again, we're going to go with the stitch, so find a stitch that's in line with it. That way you're not going to see any stitches on the outside. As you can see, there's nothing there. I'm going to go right up to the top here and work my way along. I just want another one here just to strengthen because that's where it's going to get a lot of pull. Come back up through the top here and just work our way along, making sure that you actually go under the chain. And obviously with these ones you can go along because it's going to be in line with the one at the top. That's the way those stitches are laying. So I need it right at the top here, so let's just move that. There we go. Down the next one. Again, check that it's gone through neatly before you commit. Down the other side. Now you're coming back down with the stitches. I'm going to come out the side of that one because I need it, make sure it goes in where I want it there. Okay, come down. I'm going to do an extra one in this corner just to make sure it's caught it nicely. And then we're working our way back up. No, it's this bit. Sorry, working our way along. Let's see where that's coming in. So we're going to go down this one. Catch the bottom one. Pop that back up through there. There we have it. The next stitch along. You have to come up this one to hide it. Again, just an extra couple in the corner. And we're just going to come up that side bit. There we have it. I think that's more than enough. So I'm going to hide my yarn through a couple of these stitches. And then I'm just going to force it through the back, so we know it's all hollow around there. It's all going to come out this side here. It hasn't gone through the front. And we're going to cut the yarn. So there you have your handle in place. You can't see any of the stitches. Now you just need to go ahead and do the same on this side with the tail that you left in the beginning to secure that one. As you can see, if you don't do it, it's only got a few stitches to hold it together, whereas this one is very strong. So if you want to go ahead, finish this side off and do the same on the other side, and then I'll meet you back. Okay, now I've got both of my handles on, and as you can see, you can barely see how they've been sewn on. They're quite a nice length for going over your shoulder and clutching it below. So there we have it. If you want to go and make a lining for it, it should be fairly simple, but the stitches are quite close together, so nothing's going to fall through. So I'm going to leave mine as it is. So I hope you like the video. Maybe give me a like, subscribe, and I'll pop another one up.